Hi everyone, my name is Zhang Xiaoyan and I am from College of Liberal Arts and Science and International College Beijing, majoring in economics. It's my great honor to present our study here at RECUS. Today I'll be presenting our research on China's fertility policy, where we examine how the policy changes affected women's probability of having an additional child. I'll share our data, methods, key findings, and discuss the implications of the results. First, I will briefly introduce the background of China's fertility policy reforms. The one-child policy implemented in 1979 aimed to control population growth, but it resulted in demographic challenges such as an aging population and labor shortages. So the government gradually relaxed the policy. In 2002, double only child to child policy allowed families to have a second child if both parents were only children. In 2014, single only child to child policy allowed families to have second child if at least one parent was an only child. Then in 2016, universal two child policy permitted all couples to have two children, marking a significant policy shift. As for current research, some papers find that easing fertility restrictions with the two-child policy resulted in reports of greater fertility intentions. But other studies on actual fertility behavior found that while there was a short-term rise in birth rate, the long-term impact has been minimal, with fertility rates returning to pre-policy levels after a brief increase. We use data from the China Family Panel Studies, a national longitudinal survey covering individual, household, and community dimensions across 25 provinces. Our dataset includes 6 waves from 2010 to 2020, capturing the impact of China's fertility policy changes. We focused on women aged between 20 to 50 who are married, as they are the primary demographic affected by these policies. The empirical model is constructed as the equation, where y is the dependent variable indicating if a woman conceived another child, and policy represents one of the 4 independent policy variables. So our model is basically a linear probability model. The capitalized X represents all control variables we included, and the year is used to control the time effect. Alpha is used to control the individual factors. Now let's talk about our findings. We discovered that China's 3 waves of fertility easing policies significantly increased women's probability of having another child by 2.31 percentage points, which is significant at the 1% level. However, this effect is insufficient to boost the total fertility rate substantially. Regarding control variables, age had a diminishing positive effect until the turning point of 31.5 years old. Meanwhile, the more children one has, the less possibility of additional birth giving. This is partly due to the diminishing marginal utility children brought and is probably motivated by the social ethos of advocating fewer children. Besides, we isolate the effect of each policy through 3 independent variables. The result shows that only the last 2 waves of fertility easing caused a significant impact, and the single-only child-to-child policy has the most influence. Since the number of eligible women for each policy is different, and only child parents tend to get more material and mental support from their original family, causing the differences in the degree of impact. In conclusion, the main contributions of our research are to focus directly on women's fertility decisions and to trace policy impact continuously through the panel dataset. We believe that two-child policies do stimulate Chinese fertility, but in a limited way because of the uncomprehensive impact and no fundamental shift in women's fertility attitude. Therefore, future fertility policies should be more individualized by targeting specific demographic problems within each social group, while focusing more on imposing substantial and long-term incentives in women's fertility decisions. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to any questions or discussions you might have.